good evening, good morning. Welcome back to Foundation Course number 2 on Buddhist Refuge. I am experiencing an internet outage at my location, and I'm using my phone for this connection. Could someone in the chat just let me know what your experience is? Am I freezing or is everything okay? Everything's okay? Okay, well, let's hope that holds out for at least the next 90 minutes. Okay, so today we continue our dive into emptiness. So, but first, let's set our motivation for being here. And so let's think about why it is that we're here, what brings us to this class today, for taking this course at all. We're so fortunate to be among a group of people who want to become the best kind of being it's possible to be, who are interested in serving other people, who are interested in removing negative emotions or bad habits that we have of bringing some sort of harm, not necessarily physical harm, but of making other people unhappy or uncomfortable. We want to not have any of those tendencies. We want only to serve people, to help people, to make people happy. And the way that we can do that is by seeing the nature of reality, by seeing how it is that things exist and how we perceive them. By seeing that directly, we can definitely get out of the cycle of seemingly endless suffering. It's not endless. It is possible to end suffering for ourselves or others. And with a class like today's, where we start talking about proofs for emptiness, for the absence of a self nature, it's good to ask for some help. So bring to mind your teacher, the one who makes your heart sing. You may have a picture of them, but you definitely have a picture of them in your mind. Could be someone alive or someone who has passed. It could be any figure, any person who inspires you to become the best that you can be. So bring that person to mind. feel as if you are in their presence. You may smell the sweet scent of their morality. Their breath. You see their chest move as they breathe out and in. They are looking at you with loving eyes. They are so happy about your studies and your practice. Now ask them to bless you. Ask them to give you the encouragement you need to study and understand how things are really. And you see their face light up. They're so happy that you've asked. Now ask them to stay with you. And then they start to become smaller and smaller. And they shrink down to very small size. And they come and sit on your head, facing the same direction as you. Whenever you are confused or don't understand something, you can think of your teacher there with you and think of the guiding light that they give you. So if you'd like to, you can Let's see how the share goes. My phone will allow it. If you'd like to, you can join me. Sangye Churam Soki Chuknam La Jangchu Pardu Dakni Kapsuchi Daki Chishe Kipe Sunam Ki Jola Pinchir Sangye Chupar So Sangye Churam Soki Chuknam La Jangchu Pardu Dakni Kapsuchi Daki Jishe Kipe Sunam Ki Jola Pinchir Sangye Drupar Sho Sangye Churan Soki Chuknam Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kapsuchi Daki Jishe Gipe Sunam Sangye Dubar Sho Sashi Puki Juxing Meitag Trang Mira Blingshi Niende Gempati Sangye Shingdu Mikte Oarki Chokun Namdak Shingla Chupar Sho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamnirya Dayami. So before we continue on, are there any questions about last time we talked about the gotcha, the thing that we deny when we are looking at emptiness, when we want to find emptiness. We need to know what it is that doesn't exist that we think does exist. And we talked about what that is, what the gotcha is for the Svatantrikas, for the independent branch of the middle way school. And it had two parts to it, right? Can anyone share with me what those two parts are? It was different from the consequence branch, which most of us have been studying with Geshe Michael, right? They have a different idea about how it is that we perceive things, how it is that we experience what we experience in our world. 50-50, right, Tony? Thank you. So 50% is coming at us, and the other 50% is coming from us. And what that means is that there's something about this thing which has penness. There's some there's some bit of penness in this thing. It's not 100%, right? It's not totally a pen from its side, but there's something about it that suggests pen to us. And together with us having our seeds ripen to see something like a pen, when these two come together, the suggestion of pen coming from the object and the ripening of seeds to project something like a pen, when those two come together, we've got a pen. It's not a pen if those two aren't coming together. So the thing that the independent branch of the middle way says is the thing that we deny when we're looking for the emptiness of this thing. What is that? Can someone tell me? That this thing, anything that's not 50-50. Well, um, that's true, but it's not quite going to help us. It's hard to meditate on that one and have any real feeling that oh no, this doesn't have what I thought it did. We need to be very specific when we talk about the gotcha, the thing that we're denying. We can't just use the idea like, oh, it's self-existence, because that's just a phrase. It has no real substance to it. That's not the mantra that's flowing in our minds as we walk through our day and experience things. We don't walk around saying, oh, this looks to be self-existent. Oh, this looks to be self-existent. We have this, we walk around, if you're like me, we walk around and we think things are coming at us, that they don't have anything to do with me. Sure, we have studied the Buddhist teachings, and we know, as Natalia says, we know, or we've learned about seeds and how we plant seeds and how those seeds will eventually ripen into an experience. If we help someone else, it will be a pleasant experience that ripens from that. If we harmed someone else, it will be an unpleasant experience that we have when it ripens. If it was neutral, then we have a neutral experience. But we don't really, I mean, if you're like me, and we know that you're here just to help me plant seeds so that I can get out of suffering. Thank you for that. We don't walk around all day thinking about that mechanism. That's we walk around before we see emptiness directly in a state of deep meditation. We walk around and see things coming at us. Things appear to us to be coming from their side. I may think about emptiness when I look at the pen because it's such a common tool in the teachings, right? That may be a good spark. But when I'm opening my mail, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking, oh, this letter came from Washington State. Oh, that's hundreds of miles away. Someone sent me a letter. I wonder what it is. What do they have to tell me? I'm not thinking about that the postman is actually my seeds ripening from things that I've done to others in the past. So from the independent branch of the middle way, the gotcha is something that uh, exists from its own side, that has qualities from its own side without any participation from me. That we are independent from each other. And that's not their use of independent so much. But that can be a good way to think about it. So we need to have that sense of self-existence when we think about the gotcha, the thing that we deny when we meditate on emptiness. So no questions from last time, huh? That metaphor of the magician is totally clear. Brilliant. Okay. So today we're going to uh, go over in a very brief and general way 5 different types of logical proofs for emptiness. We're going to talk a little bit about what a logical proof is, just a little bit. And then we're going to look more closely at the first of the 5 proofs. Okay, so let's dive in. I didn't have a chance to fix the Tibetan from last time. I know there's an error there, and I will fix that this morning and ask them to post it for me. those wonderful ACI people who serve us so beautifully. Okay. My chat disappeared and you guys disappeared. So here's a question. Did I, from Alexei, did I understand correctly that nothing in the universe is absolute? So yeah, absolute, or real, or really. Um, those words refer to um, something that exists independent of anything else, that it has some nature, that it has a nature of being what it is without any participation from me. I was just told that my internet is unstable. So I'm also going to do just a little mini prayer in my mind that the internet stays functioning for at least another hour. So there is nothing that has any nature of its own from its own side, including emptiness, including karma, including the Buddha, including our lovely teachers, including an internet that is unstable. Everything is according to the independent branch. Remember, that's the hat we're wearing in this class. That everything has a suggestion of what it is from its side, some hint, some suggestion, and that has to come together with me being able to see that, some karma ripening for me to be able to pick up on that and provide the missing piece, which is the experience of this thing as a pen. Everything is that way. My teacher, you all here today, everything is that. So we'll start with just briefly, the 5 types of logical proofs that we're going to talk about. So I'll give you the names of them today, talk about them a tiny bit, and then next Wednesday when we meet, we'll talk about them more deeply. The first one is called chick-to-drill. Chick-to-drill. Say chick-to-drill. Chick, that means one. one. Tu is short for tuma, which means many. And drel means free of, or you could use it as the word emptiness. It can mean empty. So the emptiness of one or many. And what does this mean? The emptiness of one or many. If we look, or when we look at, just briefly, an object like this thing, we can think of it as a whole thing, a pen, as one whole thing, right? Or we can think about it in terms of, it's got a clip, it has a clicker, it has a tube with ink in it, it has a pointy thing that delivers the ink. So it has all these parts. So we can think of it as one thing, or we can think of it as many things put together. This is a meditation just so you know that it the book that I worked on with Geshe Michael on translating is called Emptiness Meditations, and it includes discussion of this proof of emptiness, of one or many, and the independent branch of the Middle Way School has one idea of what it means, or how to use this proof. And then the consequence branch, or the Prasangika, has a different way. But we will get to that when we get to it. Just so you know, we could say, is the proof of one or many one thing or many things? Is there one proof? Or are there two proofs? One that the independent branch uses and one that the consequence branch uses. But one or many. So the thing about proofs, if we're going to prove something to ourselves, when we pose the question, is this one thing or many things? We have to be sure in our minds that something can be one thing or multiple things. There's no other choice. That or multiple things. There's no other possibility. So that we're limiting our investigation in a proof to, how do I want to say this? To this question, which would cover all things. All things, anything, is either one thing or it's multiple things. Really. The independent branch likes to use the word really. meaning truly, right? Meaning without my participation. So the chick to drown is the question of whether something is one thing or many things. And we'll talk more about that tonight. Min Chiet has a question. We say that we can purify bad seeds, meaning they will all disappear by us balancing with good ones. So one day, once all neutralized, they're all gone, then each of us will not experience any postman coming because there are no seeds. So that's the first question. And then the second question is, so anything that exists in the world then? Okay, so we've talked about in this course so far that that a person who has seen emptiness directly, for example, they have seen directly the absence of self-existence of the self themselves. That's the one. That's the subject that direct perception is of. But then when they come out of that meditation, that deep meditation, things still appear to them to be self-existent. So they have what we call the cessation, an ending of doubt. They have no doubt, depending on what hat they were wearing. We're wearing our independent branch hat. So they have no doubt that things are coming both ways, that there's suggestion of what a thing is coming this way in appearance, and that there's my participation through seeds ripening. So these are coming together into my experience. They know that, not just intellectually, but they have seen it directly. So now this is not what the highest school would say is going on. So I have to be careful. We're wearing a different school's hat in this course. So the person who has seen emptiness directly has not purified all of their seeds, all their negative seeds, all of their, if you took the karma course, we talked about the mix of black and white seeds. Because everything we do is now, before we see emptiness directly, is tainted with ignorance. No matter our motivation may be very good. So it's a mixture of good and bad. It's not, we don't plant pure good seeds before we see emptiness directly. And I'm wondering at what point, in any event, where the best we can do is create seeds that are mixed. They're not 100% pure and they're not 100% bad. But these seeds, we have these seeds, and as we can continue through the path of habituation, right, which comes after the path of seeing, there are a number of different practices we're doing if we're a bodhisattva. There's 10 different levels within the path of, from the beginning of the path of seeing up through the end of the path of habituation before we get to the path of no more learning. We're going through and then 4 others that we will talk about, I think, late next year or early next year. Anyway, when we are practicing the perfection of giving, for example, in that practice, a bodhisattva on the path of habituation is purifying seeds related to being stingy or holding back from being generous with others. So the whole path of habituation is about purifying those seeds. It's, while no one has ever says that a Buddha has karma or has seeds, they don't use those words to talk about what the mechanism of a Buddha for experiencing what a Buddha experiences. It's the same mechanism. What we do for others creates the potential of a future experience of a similar type. Because everything a Buddha does, a fully, totally awakened being, one who is out of the realm of suffering, one who has cleared away all negative emotions, has cleared away all karmic seeds, what they call karmic seeds. Still, by what they do and what they think and how they teach others, how they help others, those actions are creating what will become a future experience. Now, it's a very interesting thing to think about, because what do enlightened beings do but perceive everything, past, present, and future, freshly in each moment? What is past, present, and future for a Buddha? We have to think about what that would be. It's not like what we experience, that's for sure. It's something completely different. We can have like a rough idea about it. But I think as we go through the path of habituation, it starts to become more clear. So yes, what we talk about clearing away in terms of seeds on the path of habituation are those seeds that are negative or mixed. Those seeds that are obstructions to omniscience, obstructions to seeing all things. Because in nirvana, which we reach at the 8th level, the 8th bodhisattva level, that's where we have purified all negative emotions and karmic seeds for being free of suffering. And then those last 3 levels are when we purify the seeds related to being an obstacle to omniscience, being totally enlightened. So while the reason an Arya who has just come out of their first direct perception of emptiness still sees things as appearing to them to be self-existent, because they have completely purified their seeds to be deceived by that appearance, to have doubt about how it is that something exists. They're not fooled. Things appear self-existent, and they know they are not. Right now, we have some belief, right? There were different levels of bodhicitta we talked about. We have the belief, due to the teachings we've received, the studying we've done, the meditations we've done. We have a belief that things are not self-existent, and they appear to us to be self-existent. And sometimes, depending on how our practice is, if it's a good day, maybe we're not fooled by anything. Fooled when we're not really paying attention. On bad days, we get fooled. That person yelled at me. They're really angry. Oh, right. That came from me. So the whole practice of from being an Arya on to becoming fully enlightened, if we're on the Bodhisattva track, is about purifying these seeds. Is about, we call it becoming familiar with what it is we saw, which is that things do not have a self-nature. We saw that there is an absence of a self-nature to me. So we just continue to get used to that idea and applying it through certain practices. And in those practices, what we're doing is we are purifying negative seeds that will ripen into an experience of suffering of some sort, or ripen as we advance into higher and higher levels that could ripen into keeping us from becoming enlightened. We will purify those seeds as well. Will continue to exist for us. Uh-oh, you're all frozen. Oh, okay, someone's moving. I see movement. Okay. I didn't see any of the live translators' lips moving. So I thought, oh dear. Instability has arisen. I guess I interrupted people in teachings. And so this is ripening into this experience. May it be the end of it for everybody. May we all have clean, clear communication from now on. Okay. Great. So Chikdudrel, the emptiness of one or many. The next one is called Dorje Sekma. Actually, it's low tone. Dorje Sekma. Dorje Sekma. Dorje. Does anybody know Dorje? Diamond. Yes. Thank you, Wanru and Marie. Oh, we all know this one. Yay. Dorje's diamond. Sekma. Sekma. That means a sliver, uh, a very small piece. Sekma is a word that they use. Now remember, in Tibet, there's no oceans around, right? But they had this idea that I think some people went to oceans and then came back and talked about it. But anyway, that when a wave crashes up on a shore and there's it crashes down and then there's these tiny little drops of water. The wave breaks, they call it, at we call it in English anyway, into tiny little pieces. And so those tiny little pieces are sekma, sliver. So this proof is called the sliver of diamond reasoning. And Geshe Michael has talked about that that every person who sees emptiness directly, in the aftermath of that experience, they all think that a diamond is the closest representation of what it was that they saw in meditation. The diamond is the closest representation to emptiness for many reasons he talks about, but one of them is that every sliver of diamond is 100% diamond. So diamond is something very special for someone who has seen emptiness directly. And this proof has 4 parts. So the Chick Drell had 2 parts, right? One or many. Segment, yeah, it does sound like segment. This one, the sliver of diamond, has 4 parts. And it goes like this. Things can't arise from themselves. Things can't arise from something else. Things can't arise from both themselves and something else. And things can't arise from neither themselves nor something else. So there's 4 possibilities. And if we look around, we first have to convince ourselves that, okay, are those the 4 possibilities? Are there any other possibilities? Things are caused by themselves, by something else, by both, and by neither. Yeah, no other possibility. If we're talking about caused things, right? We could say, oh, no, they're not caused, but no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about things that could arise. Do they arise from both themselves and something else, or neither themselves nor anything else? So that's the sliver of diamond. Very sexy name. The next one is called Yutme Kegok. Yutme Kegok. Now, gok, this word is related to the gak in Gakcha. It's just a different use of that word. It also means to deny, gok. So, y means to exist. Me means to not exist. Ke means to arise. And gok again means to deny. So again, with this proof of emptiness, we have 4 possibilities. Instead of, in the diamond sliver, we talked about, do things arise from themselves, something else, both, or neither of those two. In the denial that things which do exist or do not exist could arise, and this is in the reading, so here the 4 possibilities are something could arise from something that exists, or it could arise from something that doesn't exist, or it could arise from both something exists and something that doesn't exist, or it can arise from neither something that exists nor something that does not exist. So it's the same. We've got 4 possibilities. It's just what those possibilities are. Instead of being oneself and others, it's whether it's existing or not existing. And those 4 possibilities between those 2 things. Denying things, that things can grow from things which exist or from things which do not exist. Now, this next one, again, is similar. This is called Mushi Kegok. Mu means possibility. Possibility. Shi means 4. Ke, we know, means arise, and gok means deny. So this proof is denying that things could arise through any of 4 possibilities. So again, we have 4 possibilities, but what it is, what those possibilities are different, right? Now the possibilities are multiple things can arise from multiple causes. That's the first one. Single things could arise from multiple causes. That's a second. Third one is multiple results or things could arise from a single cause. And the fourth one, there's only one possibility left, right? Multiple results could come from a single, oh no, I'm sorry, single result could come from a single cause. So our four possibilities are related to multiple and single. What are the four possible combinations between when we're talking about cause and result between multiple and single? Multiple results coming from multiple causes, single result coming from multiple causes, multiple results coming from a single cause, and a single result coming from a single cause. Then the last one we're going to talk about, and there are lots of different proofs of emptiness, but we're only going to talk about 5. The 5th one is called Tendrel Kirikpa. Rikpa. Tendrel Kirikpa. Tendrel means interdependence. Like in the Wheel of Life, it talks about 12 links of interdependence. So it's the similar, yeah, we could say dependent origination. Ji means of, and Rikpa means reasoning. So this is the reasoning of interdependence. This one has a nickname, and that nickname is Rikpe Gyalpo. Rikpe Gyalpo. Gyalpo means king. And Rikpe again means, well, when it shows up first, it has this little character, which is the link between reasoning and king. So the king of reasons. We do Tibetan in reverse order that we do English. Rikpe Gyalpo, king of reasoning. This one is very short. So it's called the king of reasoning, but there's, I don't know, it seems to me we have to be very certain in our understanding of how it is we put, what the mechanism is for creating our experience. For this meditation. in this meditation is because things are interdependent, they are empty. That's all. We don't have two possibilities. We don't have four possibilities. We just think of the idea of interdependence and how that very idea, if all things are interdependent, all things are empty. So it has to be more than just like reciting by, by rote. We have to understand what is dependent origination for this reasoning. And it's the king of reasoning, Jason Kappa, in his teachings on emptiness and dependent arising. He wrote a book called In Praise of Dependent Arising, of dependent origination, because it is dependent origination that proves that things are empty of self-existence. Geshe Michael has finished the editing of that book, and so soon it will be coming out in just a couple months. It has to go through the process of being prepared to become a book, and it's going to be called The Other Side of Emptiness. All things have interdependence. All things have emptiness. Okay. So those are the five. We have Shikdudrel, the emptiness of one or many. We have Dorje Segma, the diamond sliver. We have Yeme Kigo, denial that things have Mushikegok, denial that things arise from the four possibilities is the name, and we understand what that means is multiple. Oh, we're talking causes and results, and we're talking multiple and single. Those four possibilities. And then the fifth one is the reasoning of interdependence, Tendril Kirikpa, or we can call it Rigpe Gyalpo, the king of reasoning. Okay, let's talk a little bit about logical statements. Each logical statement has at least three parts, sometimes four. And for a logical statement to be correct in terms of presenting an argument, there has to be particular relationships that exist between these parts of the statement. So first we have to talk about what are the parts of a logical statement before we look at how are the parts related to each other. So the first, yes, Mintra, it's like, okay, let's go on. Tell us what they are. The first part is the subject. It's the subject. What what is under consideration? What are we going to provide reasoning about? So in this school, and this is related to the first of the 5 types of emptiness meditations, right? Chik-tu-drel, one or many. The subject that the independence branch of the middle way uses is called Kin Sum Chuchen. Oh, it's called Kin Sum. Kin Sum, Sum means 3, and Kin means knowledge. Chuchen means like here's the subject basically. Chuchen. What we're going to talk about in this logical proof, this logical statement, is the kinsum, the 3 knowledges. So every time you start a debate, it ends with this phrase, Chuchen. Pen Chuchen. Water pitcher, Chuchen. Object is, and you all froze again for me. Oh, I see movement. Okay, good. So whatever you're talking about, Chuchen. So the independent branch, when they talk about the first of the 5 proofs of emptiness, their subject is the 3 knowledges. So what are these 3 knowledges that they talk about? The first one is called Shishe. Shishe. And that means basic knowledge. And that means the perception of emptiness. Or we should say selflessness. Why did I just correct myself? Because there are 4 different Buddhist philosophical schools. The detailist, the sutrist, the mind only, and the middle way. The middle way has 2 branches, the independent branch and the consequence branch. So these 2 schools, sometimes this one, don't use the phrase emptiness, Pongpani, Shunyata. They don't use that word. They instead use the word selflessness. Does that mean that they think the word emptiness is the wrong word to use? No. They don't disagree with that word. It's just they prefer to use the word selflessness. So you could get into some trouble, but not really that much trouble if you were to use the word emptiness with someone from the detailist school or sutra school. They prefer to talk about selflessness. That word, use that word. So that's that's basic knowledge. the perception of selflessness. The next knowledge of the three is called lamshe. Lamshe. And this means, if you've been taking courses with me, it's like this word is one of the most popular. It shows up in every course. Lam, path, path knowledge. It's somewhere in between Hinayana selflessness and total omniscience is path knowledge. We don't need to know much about the details of these three knowledges in order to talk about this proof of emptiness. And then the third knowledge is namkyen. And this we have talked about in this course because this means omniscience. Namkyen is omniscience. Knowledge of all things. It's the subject of the book that we're studying in this course, the Jewel of Realizations. Remember when we started off talking about the qualities of the three jewels. So the subject, the chuchen of the logical proof, emptiness of one or many, is the three knowledges: basic knowledge, path knowledge, and ultimate knowledge or omniscience. So that's our first part of a logical statement, the subject. The second part of a logical statement is the assertion, as Mien Tret said. What is the quality we're trying to prove about the subject? So there has to be a relationship between and this assertion that we make about the subject in a logical statement. The rule for I'm unstable again. The rule for Buddhist logic, the rule for when you debate with someone is that the person you're debating with, they haven't seen this one. They have not made the connection between the quality and the subject. And the whole reason you're debating is to answer that question: is this quality, is this assertion that I'm making, is it a quality of the subject or not? So the person has to know the subject, or you can't debate with them. You know, you wouldn't debate the three knowledges with someone who had never heard about them before. It wouldn't be proper. At least we've heard the names, and that's about all we need to do this particular proof. Then there's the assertion about it. What quality about this subject are we putting forth? that our opponent doesn't yet see the connection. And then the third part of a logical statement is the reason, is our reason, is the logical reasoning that shows there must be a relationship between the quality and the subject. Okay. The fourth part, the part that's optional, but can be very helpful, is the example. When you're debating, if you want to help, the person you're debating with, which that's the whole reason for debate, is to get at the truth. It's not about being clever or being smarter or anything like that. Not like normal debate is, like I think about political debate and forget about it. Buddhist debate is all about trying to get to the truth. So the example can be very important, and it also needs to have a relationship with the other three parts of the logical statement. It has to be an example that makes sense, quite frankly. So this first debate, the emptiness of one or many. So we know our subject is the three knowledges. Are they one thing? Oh my gosh, no. Let's not even go into that one. Although it would be nice to help him understand why he experiences what he experiences. Anyway, are the three knowledges one thing or many things? No trick. Are the three knowledges one thing or many things? Many. Thank you. More than one. They're plural. There's three of them. Do they exist? Do the three knowledges exist? On this one, we have to sort of, we can say yes, they exist because we just heard about them. We just learned about them. And we learned about them being, the perception of selflessness, right? And the path knowledge, which I don't know, but I think we can assume it's the knowledges that we generate as we continue on our journey to enlightenment while we're still on the path. And then omniscience itself. So we know those three, at the very least, we know those three phrases exist because we've heard them, right? How would we prove that they exist wearing our independent branch hat? The two conditions, right? And what are those? They appear to us and we perceive them. Thank you. Because they appear to us and because I perceive them, they're doing what they have to do, which is appear, and I'm doing what I have to do, which is to perceive them. If they didn't appear to me, if there wasn't some three knowledgeness to these three, then they didn't have to appear to me in order to be three knowledges. Anyone who saw them would know, oh, those are the three knowledges. Whether they were, whether they understood the words or whether they understood what the word, whether they were a different kind of living being, like a cat, anyone who anyone to whom those three appeared would perceive them as, oh, the three knowledges. Yeah, yeah. If it's just from my side, so says the independent branch, then I could say four knowledges or six knowledges. I could say anything about them, whatever, my seeds ripened into, anything at all. So those two have to come together. But so they are many, they do exist, but do they really exist? Do they exist self-existently? So we have to know the gotcha. We have to know the thing that we deny, which is that they could exist independently in their own unique way of being from their own side. So we would say neither one nor many. Let's take the three knowledges. They don't really exist. Because they're not their own unique way of being three things from their own side. And our example would be they're like a reflection of a person in a mirror. Why does that example fit? Because a reflection of a person in a mirror looks to be the person 100%, but they're not. They're just a reflection. Like, sometimes for birds that are kept in cages in people's homes, and you can see it with other animals too. They catch their reflection in a mirror and they think it's another bird. And they'll have these conversations with the bird, with the reflection of the bird in the mirror. So it appears to be a real person in the glass, but it's not. Okay, that's our time. That's all the content for today. It can be a little tough. Just sit with it. Think about it. The reading is challenging. The reading is challenging. Don't get freaked out. Ask your teacher to help you understand. It will come. It will come. Okay, thank you so much. We're past time, so I ask that you please dedicate after our class. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience with my teaching and with my internet troubles. And you really are an inspiration to me, and it's like the best part of my week to spend time with you. Thank you, live translators. Thank you, ACI, for hosting us. And thank you, Geshe Michael, for teaching. And have a great weekend. Don't forget to dedicate. And I'll see you on Wednesday.
Благодарю, достопочтенный Utpala. Это здорово.
Thank you, teacher Utpala.
Yeah, thank you, teacher.
Cảm ơn
Nice
cô.
weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I think I'm frozen again. Bye.